so just write yes that you have understood everything till now. Now we have not covered any coding part, so whether you will not be, I think that you will not be having any doubts. But if you have any doubts, any suggestion you want, any feedback you want to give, or any thing you want to specially learn in this session, you can just ask me, right, in the discussion channel. I'm just waiting for 2 to 3 minutes here. Okay, yes. Okay, I think everything is clear till now. Perfect, perfect, perfect. So I'll just switch off my video so that your focus should be completely on the coding part. Right. So I hope my font size is not that small. Just write it in the chat box if you need to increase the font size. You can see over here.
It's visible.
Okay, perfect, perfect. So should we proceed now? Yes. Perfect. So over here you need to see this is the project structure. So this is the simple application that you're going to get when you will be creating a new application in Flutter, right? So these are the simple folders. There is Dart tool folder, and so this Dart tool folder, idea folder, and there will be one more folder, VS Code folder. These three folders you don't have to worry about till now. Like for now, you don't have to worry about these Dart tool and idea folder. They are just the extensions. They are just the things that VS Code is installing in your project, right? So that it should work perfectly. So these two folders we don't have to worry about. Then there is the Android folder. So in this Android folder, every file that will be required for Android part, they will be kept here. So we will be mostly dealing with the app folder, then source, then main, then Android manifest.xml. So in this file, Android manifest.xml, we are going to put some permissions like internet permissions, or mic permission, read contacts permission, location permission, right? So these are the permissions that we sometimes require for application. Let's say your app is a Zomato application, then you need the location API, right? You need the location of the mobile, you need the GPS of the mobile. So at that time we require such permissions. So those permissions we can keep in the Android manifest.xml. So this is the file. And this resource folder, you can see over here, resource folder. So this is going to contain your app icons. It is going to contain your splash screen. So splash screen is nothing but the screen that appears for 2 to 3 seconds when your app starts. So that everything will be contained in these folders for different dimensions. You can see mipmap, MDPI, XHHDPI. So these are the different dimensions depending upon your mobile screen, right? So this is the resource folder. This is the Java and Kotlin. You don't have to worry about for now. And yes, so build.gradle, and this is the most important file, build.gradle. So over here only we need to define like which SDK version, right? SDK software development kit. So SDK version, so minimum version. So let's say you are building an AR application, that is augmented reality application. So that those applications require some minimum SDK version. Let's say you are using a 2010 mobile. So on those mobiles your application is not going to run. So for that thing you need to define some SDK versions over there, right? So which SDK version your mobile apps are going to support. So this is the thing, and when we will be connecting our Firebase, at that time I'm going to show you what other changes you need to do in your build.gradle, right? So let me just close the Android app. In the similar way, we have to connect your iOS app. So for that thing, we have the iOS folder, right? So for the iOS folder, we have these pods. So for all the libraries that we will be installing in the pubspec.yaml, so this is the pubspec.yaml file. Let's say because I wanted to connect my Firebase Auth and Cloud Firestore, I put these three dependencies over here, right? So don't worry if you don't know about this dependency. When you will be connecting your app with the Firebase, then it is going to automatically tell you that please add these three dependencies, right? Perfect. So this is the pubspec.yaml file. So whatever dependencies you will be adding in your pubspec.yaml, their corresponding parts for the iOS will be installed in these pods, right? You can see these pods. So if I even delete this pods folder, when I will be running my project, when I will be running my app, it is again going to install this pods folder, right? You can see Firebase Auth, you can see Firebase Core, you can see Google Data Transport, everything, right? So this is the pods folder, which helps you to connect your iOS app with the Firebase or your project structure, right? So this is just like a bridge, right? Then you have the runner. So in this runner, again we have info.plist. Now what is this info.plist? So the same thing that we had for Android manifest.xml, we defined our permissions. In the same way for iOS, we have info.plist where you need to define your permissions. Let's say you're using microphone, then you need to define your microphone permission. Then why you are using that microphone permission, that you need to define in this info.plist. So info.plist, Android manifest.xml, they are like brothers, right? So let me just close the runner. And this git ignore, if you are familiar with GitHub or Git, then you will be knowing what is the functionality of this git ignore. Some files we don't want to upload on GitHub or any version control system. At that time we can write that folder name in this git ignore. So you can see pods is over here because we don't want to upload pods. So whenever someone will be downloading my code or cloning my code, then then another pod folder will be installed for him or her, right? Then this pod folder will not be working for him or her because this pods folder is for my system, my laptop, right? My compatibilities will be there in this, right? So this was the iOS folder. And then we have the lib. So this is the folder in which 80 to 90% coding we are going to do, right? So let me just check the chat. Perfect, there is no doubt, right? Okay, so we have this lib folder. So in this lib folder we have main.dart. Okay, we have main.dart. So this is the file which I am going to just delete it because we are going to code everything from the scratch. That's why I have deleted this main.dart, right? So this test folder is there. So this test folder we don't need. So whenever you will be creating an application for production, let's say for uploading somewhere, that time you can use this test folder for testing your application. And this is the web thing, and we are not focusing on the web part for now, so that it should not become very confusing. And in the same way we have some Flutter plugins. So whatever plugin I'm adding, they will be added over here. Then again there is a git ignore file. Then there are some packages. There are pubspec.yaml and this readme, right? So in this readme you can define what your app does, what is the functionality, so that whenever someone else will be reading your code, it will be very easier for him or her, right, to understand your code. Now I think we have covered this project structure, but now we need to create our own project structure inside this lib folder. Because let's say I will be working with the authentication part, I will be working with the functions, cloud functions, I will be working with uploading the to do and everything, working with the UI, working with the widgets, working with the components, all those things. We just can't put each and every file like everything in this folder, right? We need to structurize it. So what I'm going to do is, first thing, when your app will be starting, what it is going to ask for you, it will be asking for you to sign up or log in, right? So that is called authentication. So let me just create a folder name called auth. So this is my auth folder. So in this auth folder, every file that will be required for authentication, right? Welcome screen, right? Then yeah, for now we will be only having the welcome screen, in which it will be asking for you to enter your username, enter your email, enter your password. So this thing we will be keeping in this auth. So next thing we will be having is the pages or screens. I like to write pages, so I have written pages. So in this pages, we will be having our home page. We will be having our view to-dos page. In that screen, we will be viewing all the to-dos. And another screen, we will be having to upload a to-do, right? So everything we will be keeping in this pages. And another thing we will be having is the widgets. So in this widgets, we will be keeping small widgets like a text field or a container, which is going to get repeated each and every time. So a to do will be contained in a container. So that container I'm going to design in this widgets folder, so that my UI should not get mixed with the logical part, right? UI and the logical part should stay different. Perfect. So is there any doubt? You can ask on the discussion channel. I think everything is clear till now. Perfect. So now we have seen auth folder, we have pages folder, we have this widgets folder. Now one more thing we are having is the utils folder, that is called utilities, in which all my colors will be there, right? So let me just write utils. So in this, my utils folder will be there. So I think for this simple to do application, we have added all the folders. Now I think we need to start adding the files. So we have the main.dart file. So let me just start coding, right? So yes, so first thing we need to import the material.dart. So this material.dart is going to contain all your material widgets, right? Like your container, like your size box, like your column, like your row. So these things are wrapped in your material.dart file, right? So let me just now create a function. So in any coding language, we start with the main function, right? So over here also we will be starting with the main function, and let me just write run app, and I'll be calling it as new my app. So let me just write stateless widget my app. So what I have done over here is in this I have defined a my app and which extends a stateless widget, right? So in this stateless widget, I'm going to define my material app. So material app is the entering point. So whenever your app will be running, it will be starting from the material app, right? So over here I'm going to define material app. So here I'm going to define return a material app. Then you can see a debug banner is over here, right? You can see the debug banner. So I don't want this banner. So you can just write debug show banner to be false. And the next thing that we need to do is theme. So let's say I think everyone is boy over here. So let's use the dark theme now. So let's use theme data, and let's keep brightness as brightness.dark. Perfect. Now we have defined the theme, we have defined everything. Now let's define the home. So we have the home, and let's define home over here. And we have not built home. So what we will do is in the pages folder, we will create a file called home.dart. So in this home.dart, I'm going to define import material.dart, define a stateless widget. So what do you mean by stateless widget? So when you have two widgets, you have a stateful widget, you have a stateless widget. So in the stateless widget, I define a stateless widget when I don't want to change the state of my application. Let's say I defined a variable called a is equal to 10. Now in this screen, I don't want to change the value of a anytime. But whenever I'm defining a stateful widget, my app variable will be changing. I will be able to change the state, right? So let's say when I click a button, I should be able to change a from 10 to 20. Let's say over here, you can see when I'm defining this button, when I'm clicking this button, I'm able to change the number. So over here, a stateful widget is used. But if I would have used the stateless widget, then this would not be possible. It will not allow you to change the state, right? So let me just write, let me use stateless widget, and let's call it home. Now in the main.dart, I can import home. Perfect. Okay, so yes, you just need to remove this flutter lints so that it should not give you this error over here, my app thing, right? Okay, so now we have defined the home. Now what we need to do is, let me just rerun the app so that you should be able to see what we have built till now. Guys, you can open your mics when asked. Okay, yeah. So the app is launching. Let's see over here. Let's just wait. So till now what we can do is we can connect our Firebase. So I am on my Firebase account. You can also, if you have a Google account, you have a Firebase account. So just log into your firebase.com, and so this is the site console.firebase.google.com, and you can just add a project. So I have built a few projects before. So I'll just create a new project. So what you need to do is enter a project name. So I'll write algorithm session. Okay, we can't use a underscore, algorithm 1, right? I can click on continue. Then I can again click on continue. Select your account, default account for Firebase, click on create a project. So it will be creating a project. Then I need to connect my Android and the iOS thing. Okay, So now my app is running and you can see a black screen because in my home, what is happening? I have defined the debug show banner as false. That is not there. Then I have defined the home, brightness.dark. Then we have defined the home. So in this home, if I just go to home, so to go directly to the part, you can just hold command key or control key and click on this home. So I am on this home part and you can see a simple container, right? So you can see a simple container. But if you want to see a simple scaffold, scaffold is just like a roof for your application. So just define scaffold, then an app bar, then you can define a title and let's give a title as text and let's call it home. Now let me just save it and you can see simple scaffold is there, home is there. So scaffold is just like a roof. If you are not defining scaffold in your application, then it will be just showing you the simple black screen, right? And I have defined an app bar with the home as the app bar title. Perfect. So my Firebase is also connected now. Let's click on continue. And now you can click on Android because first we'll be adding the Android part. And you have to add these package name. So why it is asking me the package names? Because if you will not add the package name, how it is going to confirm that this is your application? So package name will be different, will be unique for each and every application that is existing in this world. Whichever application you are seeing on App Store, whichever application you are seeing on Play Store, they will be having a unique package name. Okay, so this package name you are going to get from Android, then app, then build.gradle, and this is my package name. So let me just copy it. You can see application ID on line 46. So you can see this package name. So let's just add the package name over here. So you can give a nickname to your application or you can give a SHA key. So SHA key we don't require unless and until we are using a phone authentication, we are using a Google authentication, Facebook authentication. Then we need this SHA key. If you are using a simple email password, then we don't need. So let's click on register app. Perfect. Now it is telling me to download this Google services.json. So what is this file? So this file is like a bridge. It is like a connector. It is going to connect your application to the Firebase application, right? If you are not giving this Google services.json, you're going to get a lot of errors. Basically, your application, your Flutter application will not be able to contact, will not be able to communicate with the Firebase. So let's just download this JSON file. So that file is downloaded and now I need to bring that file from the downloads folder to my app folder. Perfect. So as you can see, in the same hierarchy with the build.gradle, I have this Google services.json. So let's just close it and let's see the further parts. Let's click on next. So it is telling me to add these two things. So first thing is the inside this project then build.gradle. So we have two build.gradle files. First one is inside the app folder. Next thing is outside the app folder. So first thing it is telling me to go in the first build.gradle, that is this one, which is outside the app folder. Go to this and let's copy what it is telling. It is telling me to add the Google Maven repository. So it will be able to communicate with Google, but it is already added, so we don't have to add it. Next thing is to add a dependency. Let's just copy it, go to our build.gradle, and yes, so in the dependencies, let's just paste that. Let's just Control S so that it will be saved. And next thing is repositories Google. So you can see that already Google is added. Perfect. Next thing is we need to go inside the second build.gradle. So let's go inside the second build.gradle and let's see what we have. First thing, we need to add the plugin, Google Services plugin. So we are using Firebase, which is a Google service. So let's add this plugin. So let's go over here and you can see there are some other plugins also. Let's paste that Google Services plugin. Simple. Next thing is we need to add implementation for Firebase. So let's copy this thing, go to your build.gradle. In the dependencies, we have implementation. Let's paste that. Then we have another implementation. Let's paste that. Perfect. So let's just save it. And one more thing is that this Firebase is not going to tell you, but it is required is to write multi-dex enabled. Multi-dex enabled as true. So this you need to do because we are using some minimum SDK versions. If you will not do this minimum dex enabled, then your application will not be able to render. It will not be able to run. It will not be it will not be able to render your output from the Firebase, right? So this thing we require when you are using new SDK versions, right? Latest SDK versions. At that time, we need to use this multi-dex enabled. True. Okay. So Firebase is added for the Android. So let me just click on next. Let's click on continue to console. Now my Android part is successfully added. Now in my pubspec.eml, you can see I have added three dependencies or three plugins, three libraries, three packages or three dependencies. You can call it anything. So first thing is the Firebase core. So this thing is required to initiate the Firebase application. So this thing is required for initiating your Firebase application, right? And then we have Firebase auth. So this Firebase auth is for Firebase authentication, as the name is telling. Then we have the Cloud Firestore. So this Cloud Firestore we need to communicate with the Cloud Firestore, which you will be able to see over here. Firebase database, right? So let me just initiate this one also. Let's click on create database, and you need to start from test mode. Click on next, click on enable. Let's just wait. Okay, so it is added. So one more thing that you need to do is go to rules. Then inside this, you need to tell you, if you are using in the test mode, then you need to tell you that anyone can communicate with the database. If you will write this, then it is not going to run, right? It will tell you that you are not the admin, or you are not able to communicate with the Firebase storage, right? You need to tell that whosoever I am, I want to communicate with the Firebase. I want to read the database. I want to write the database. So you need to write true. So our Firebase cloud store is also added. So let's go to authentication, and you need to see that we need to click on get started so that my authentication is also initiated. So let's just wait. Okay, so this is also added, and now you can see that I can choose various providers. I can choose Google provider, I can use Facebook, but today we will be learning simple email authentication, email password authentication. Now let's click on yes or submit. Now you can click on users, and over here all my users will be shown, right? Who will be added in the database, they will be shown over here. Perfect. Okay, so authentication is added, database is added, right? So now let me go to my app. So I think this is clear now. Core is for initiating your app, then Firebase auth is for authentication, Cloud Firestore is for database, right? Okay, so we have covered this thing. Now let's connect our iOS app also, because I am using the iOS emulator. So I need to connect your iOS. So let's go to iOS. For that thing, I need to go to my Firebase, go to algorithm 1, your project name. Then click on add app, then click on iOS. Then again, you need to add the iOS bundle ID. So for that thing, what I'm going to do is you need to go to the Xcode. So in the iOS, if you will just right click on the iOS folder and click on open in Xcode, then your Xcode will be opened, right? And from there you will be able to get your application ID. So let's just wait. Okay, so go to runner, then copy this bundle identifier, and let's just paste that iOS, paste that over here. And yes, so these things we don't need to give. Click on register app. Sometimes this Xcode may give you some errors. So let's see if it gives me some errors. So again, we have this info.plist file. So in the same way we had the Google services.json for Android, we have info.plist for iOS. So let's click on that. I hope that this doesn't give me error. It sucks a lot, this Xcode. So let's just see. So now I'll be getting my info.plist, and this file, this info.plist, you need to go to runner and click on finish. you actually need to keep this info.plist file in your this runner folder. So let me just paste it. So you can see where my info.plist file is there only your Google services info.plist file should be there, right? So this is the funda, this is the trick, right, to place the info.plist file at the correct position. So this is also added. Let's click on next. Then pod init, it will be automatically done, we don't need to do it. Let's click on next. And one more thing that we need to do is you need to initiate your Firebase. So you need to go to your app delegate class. So let's go to my app delegate. So where it is, yes, app delegate.swift we have over here. So let's copy this Firebase thing and let's paste that over here. Where it went. Okay, just a second. Add app, let's do that again only because I want that code, and those things we don't need to remember, so I want that code only. So let me just copy this thing, let's paste it over here. Okay, click on register app. Yes, so let me just copy this part, firebase app.configure, and we have to put this inside the boolean. So let me just paste it. Perfect. So my iOS app is also now connected. So now we can directly go to that part, that was my adding the users. So now we can start with the authentication. So this algorithm, then which is my main app which I added first, no, not this one. Let's go to this part. Perfect, my this part is already added, right? So now let's go to authentication and let's start adding the users. Okay, if you have any doubt till now, because now we are going to start coding the main part, you can ask. I am waiting for 1 or 2 minutes. Okay, I think there is no doubt because we have not done any coding part yet. Okay, let's start coding. So we have, where is my project folder? Now I can close my Xcode. I don't need. So till this point of time, I have connected my Android, I have connected my iOS. So now what we need to do is go to your main.dart, and yes, in the VS Code you have this button which is going to collapse all your folders. So now it looks good. Go to lib, go to main.dart. Now we need to do one thing. First thing is make this main function as async. So what is this async or what is this await? So whenever your function or whenever something in your application is going to take some time, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect my Firebase app over here. So let's write await Firebase dot initialize app. So this thing is coming for my core. So you can see over here my core is now imported. So this thing is coming from my core only. So if you will not add core, you will not be able to initialize your app. So this Firebase.initialize app is going to take some time. That's why I'm adding async and await. And one more thing that you need to define to initialize all your widgets is widgets flutter binding dot ensure initialized. So this thing is going to initialize all your widgets, and this thing is going to initialize all your Firebase app. So now we have connected our Firebase successfully. So for that thing to work with the Firebase, I need to restart my application, because if you are adding some any widget change, then you can use this hot reload. You can just hit Ctrl+S. But if you are adding some functionality like a Firebase, then you need to restart your app so that it should be added successfully in my project structure. So let's just wait till now. If you have any doubts, you can ask. So let's consider it as a break of 2 to 3 minutes. So if you will not use widgets flutter binding dot ensure initialized, your app will not start. You will be getting the errors over here that your widgets are not initialized. So what are widgets? Your widget is this app bar. Your widget is this the title, your container, your scaffold. First, we were able to get our widgets. Why? Because we were not using this Firebase dot initialize app. So what is happening is my Firebase is taking some time to get initialized, right? But till that time, I want to ensure that my widgets are at least initialized. My widgets are ready, right? So that as soon as my Firebase is ready with the initialization, my Firebase is ready to communicate with my app, then at that point of time, my widgets are also ready, right? So that is the funda. I hope it is clear. Okay. Any other doubt? Okay. So now everything is ready. Okay, it is still running. Xcode is building. Let's wait. I hope that Xcode doesn't give any error. Otherwise, we have to shift to Windows. So should we take a break of 5 minutes or we should continue only? Yeah, we can continue. Let's wait for this Xcode to build. And I hope that, okay, how many of you are coding along with me? And how many of you are noting the important points? Because if you are not coding along with me, that's also totally fine. Just use this session for understanding the things, because we are going to put this code, we are going to put this session, recorded session on our YouTube channel also. So that is totally fine. But just have a paper and pen with you, so that all the important points are noted. All the errors, I'm also going to get a few errors now, uh, right? So if I get some errors, just write those errors down, so that when you will be getting those errors, you should not have to search over the net. You can just use the same solution. Okay, so now my Xcode is ready. So now what I want to do is, it is whenever I run my app, it is going to show me this home screen. Why? Because my home is set to home, right? But I need to use a funda, I need to use a logic that if the user is logged in, then he should be able to see this home screen. And if the user is not logged in, or if the user is a new user, then he should be able to see the sign up page, right? And that sign up page, I'm going to call it as welcome screen. So let's call this as a welcome screen, welcome.dart. And over here, let's import material.dart. Then let's import a stateful widget, because what I'm going to do is, I'm using a stateful widget because I'm going to use some buttons. First button will be for logging you in. Second button will be for changing the state, like I'm going to show you, don't worry, it will be confusing if I just tell you. So over here also we need a scaffold. In the scaffold, I'm going to give an app bar. Let's give a title, let's give a text, and the text will be welcome. And instead of returning home, I'm going to return welcome now. And let's import welcome. let me just refresh the app. Okay, I'm going to see welcome over here. Perfect. Right. Okay, now let's go to welcome and start designing a very basic UI, right? So in the body, so in the app bar is done. Let's go to body. So in the body, I'm going to define a simple container. In the container, I'm going to have a simple child, and we are going to have a column. So why a column? So what is happening is I'm going to define a text form field for a username, a text form field for an email, a text form field for a password, right? All in the vertical direction. That's why I need this column. And now let's write the children. So this children is going to contain all my widgets. So my first widget is going to be text field. My second widget will again be a text field. My third widget will again be a text field. Let me just save it. And you can see 3 text fields are over here, but it is looking very ugly. So in the container, in the body container, I'm going to give it a margin. Let's write edge insets dot all 20 margin, 20 pixels margin. Perfect. You are able to see my 3 text fields are over here, and I want to keep these text fields at the center. So what you need to do is in the column, let's define main axis alignment dot center. Let me just save it. You can see the text form fields at the center. Perfect. Now in this first text form field, I want to define a decoration, input decoration, then a hint text, and the hint text I'm going to give it enter username. Save it. You can see enter username is over here. You can see, right? Now I'm going to copy this hint text, and one more thing, if you are not able to see your code, what you can do is go to view and click on word wrap. Perfect. You can see the complete code now. Now let's copy this decoration and let's put this inside the second text field, inside the third text field. Or let me do one thing. Let me just remove these 2 text fields for now. First, let's build the first text field only. Okay. Yes. So this is my first text field, that is for username. Okay, so now what is happening is I'll be having 3 text form fields, first one for username, second one for email, third one for password. But don't you think that for logging in the user, I don't need the username. I just need email and password. I will be requiring the username when I'll be signing up the user. So what is happening is I need to define a form, right? So I need a form for submitting a form. This is a simple form, right? So what I can do is wrap with a widget. Let's call it form, and every form contains a key, requires a key, and that is a global key. So in the class, what you need to do is final form key is equal to global key, and this global key will be of type form state because we are defining this key for form. And now you need to go to your form and define a key called the form key. Perfect. Now what you need to do is I need to define a boolean. So that boolean is for whether my page is a login page or whether my page is a sign up page. So boolean is login, and initially it will be false. So whenever I'll be starting the screen, it should be set to sign up page, right? And if the user clicks a button, that is he's already signed up, he just want to log in, then my username will be gone, right? So this is the logic I'm trying to build, right? But one more thing, now you need to use text form field, because this text field because this text field is inside a form. That's why we need a text form field. I hope it is clear. Now what you need to do is, to this text form field also you need to define a key, and it takes a value key. And let's define this value key as a username, right? And now what I need to do is let's copy this text form field, and let me just paste it 2 times. And you need to use different keys for every text field. So let me just separate them out. First one is username, second one will be email, and third one will be password. Enter email, enter password, save it. You are able to see 3 different text form fields over here. Now I need to use an elevated button. So let me use a sized box first, so that I should have a gap in between. It should not be sticking. And then use a container, and let's define the height as 50. Then let's define a child as an elevated button, and in this on press let's define an empty function. In this on press I'm just defining an empty function over here, because we will be building the function or the logical backend part a little bit time after, right? So let's define a simple child as a simple text, and this text will just say sign up, nothing else. Save it. You can see the size sign up button is over here. Now let me just define the width of this button as double dot infinity. So it will be set to infinity. So whatever width is I'm having, it will be set. Perfect. I hope it is clear. And now I need a text button. So let me use a text button, and I'm going to just show you why I'm using this text button. Define a child, simple text, and it is going to tell you already have an account, sign in or login. And let me just save it. You can see the text is over here, right? Okay, now what I want to do is whenever I click on this thing, complete state should be changed. Whenever I click on this thing, it should be changed to login. My username should be gone. So what is happening is, in my text form field, this text form field should only be there if my state is of sign up page. So is login. So this is a boolean which we have defined false over here. If login, I don't want to see the text form field. I just want to see a simple container. But if my login is if my login is false, then I want to see this text form field. So let me just save it. Currently the login state is false. That's why it is showing me the username. Now the same way for this sign up, if my is login is true, then what I need to show? Login. Login. But if my login is false, then I want to show the sign up, and I will be just showing you what we have built. Just understand it, what is happening. If my login is true, then login. If my login is false, then sign up. In the same way, in this text button, what I want to do is whenever I click on this button, it should change the state. So set state is login will be changed to not is login. That means my login state will be reversed, right? And again over here, if my is login is true, then what I need to show is don't have an account. So let me just show don't have an account, sign up. But if my login is false, then already have an account, login. So let me just save it. Perfect. Now you can see the magic. If I am clicking on this button, it is removing the username, it is changing it to login, don't have account, sign up. But if let me just increase the size of the emulator. So if I am clicking on this button again, it is showing me the username. If I am clicking on this button again, you can see how beautiful it is changing the state, right? Perfect. So we have built a simple form. Currently we will be changing it to sign up because we have not added any user to our database, and our main motive should be now to connect our database or start adding the users, right? I hope it is clear. And if you have any doubt, I'm waiting for a minute. You can add the question in the discussion channel. Or we can continue also. I hope it is clear. And now what we need to do is, so there is a website called flutterfire.com, right? So on that website, you will be getting all your documentation. Believe me, whenever I code any app, I have built around 30 apps, and all these apps I have not coded a single line of code for coding the functions, right? Let me just show you that. Because if anything is available already somewhere, why should I write it, right? So let me just show you. Go to Flutterfire, click on get started. We are talking about authentication. Let's go to overview. So in this, you can see that you need to add this core, you need to add this Firebase auth, and we have already added, so we don't need to do that. Download the dependency, it automatically gets downloaded when you run the app. That is also done. Now we are not talking about web in this seminar, so that is also done. Rebuild your app. I have already run the app. That is also done. Now click on next page. So let's go to usage. Then you need to define. Now let's search for the functions. So we are talking about email and password. So let me just show you that function. Sign in methods. Anonymous sign in is not there. We are not talking about anonymous sign in. We are talking about email and password sign in or registration. So this is for registration and this is for sign in. So they have beautifully given this code for signing up the user. You just need to remember, or you just need to understand what is happening, right? What is happening? I'm going to provide this function email and the password, right? These are the static values, but I'm going to provide what my form will be returning. So it is going to create a user with email and password. So when a user will be created, it will be giving me the user credentials, right? So this is happening. I'm getting the user credentials. Now next thing is, if the user has entered a weak password, then password is too weak. If the error code is there, then this thing will be done. So let me just copy this function. I hope it is clear, right? And let's go to, so we need to form one more folder called services. And in this services, you need, okay, I have built services over here. Let me just delete it. I need to build services inside the lib folder. So let's build services. And in the services, let's create a file called functions.dart. And inside this function, let's first create a function called sign up, which is going to take string email, password, and a username. And over here, let me just paste that function. Now you can import the user credential. That means Firebase auth library, and everything is done. So this email, I'll be changing it to email. In this password, I'll be changing it to password, right? So if any error will be there, it is going to show me. If anything else will be there, it is going to show me. Now, if I'm successfully logged in, signed up, I need to show a scaffold messenger or a Flutter toast. So for that thing, I also need the context of this. Okay, let's just wait for some time. Let's just add the user. Then we will talk about this thing. Okay, so now what we can do is go to your welcome screen in the auth. And whenever I need to define a few strings now. So these strings, what I'm defining, let me just define string username will be empty currently. Then string email will be empty currently. String password will be empty. So whenever I'm clicking on this button, all these strings will be updated to the strings or to the text that user has entered in these three text form fields. So that thing is there in on saved, right? So let's go to our text form field. And if you will not write this form, let me just show you. So what is happening is, after this decoration, yes, you need to define on saved. And on saving the value, on saving this text form field, on saving this form, I'm going to get a value. So that value is nothing but the value that the user has entered in this. So let's add this value. Set state, my username will be changed to my value. Value, okay, null check. That means this value should not be null. And you can copy this on saved over here. And let's make it email. Let's copy this to password. Let's make it to password. Save it. Now, what is happening is, whenever my form will be saved, now let's just save the form. So when my form should save, so my form should be saved when my this sign up button is called. So on press set state, okay, this is the text button. I'm talking about this elevated button. So in this on pressed, if my form key, so we call that form using its form key. So if my form key dot current state dot validate. That means if my form is validated, if there is no error in my form, that then I want to save this form. So if my form null check, okay, if my current state dot validate, what is the error? Okay, null. Yes, if my form key dot current state dot validate, then I need to form key dot current state dot save. So this thing is going to save my form. So let me put a null check over here also. Perfect. Now what I want to do is, when my form key is saved, I want to print my email, password and username. So print email, print username, print password. Let me just save it. So I hope it should work. If any error comes, then let's see. Right, so let me just refresh it. Perfect. So let me enter a username as my name, Shit Madan. Let me put an email. Let me put my email, and let me put a simple password 1 2 3 4 5 6. One more thing, you can see that I'm able to see the password. That should not happen, right? So let me go to text form field. In the password, in the obscure text to be true, in over here it should be obscure text to be true, and if I just save it, you can see my password is now saved as a star form, right? So this is done. Now let's click on sign up, and you can see my email is there, my username is there, and my password is there. Now what I need to do is I need to provide these three parameters to my functions, sign up function that we have defined over there. So what is happening is, I also need to copy that sign in function. So this is for signing up the user, but I also need to sign in the user. So what I'll do is I'll define one more function called sign in async, and over here it will be taking just email and password. It will not be taking the username, right? Email and password. Let me just go to that website, copy this sign in code. Let's just paste it over here, and to the email I'll be provide this email, to the password I will be provide this password. Perfect. Let's just save it. In the welcome, I need to call my functions. So let me just decrease the font size. Yes, it is visible, right? Okay, so instead of printing these three things, I need to call the sign up function. Sign up function, right? So as soon as the sign up function is imported, you can see my services slash functions dot dart is also imported. Perfect. Okay, so where is it? Sign up. So it is going to call this function, and it is going to provide this email, password and username. So let's just put a semicolon. But this should only be happening if my sign up thing is activated. If my login state is activated, then I want to show the sign in thing. So if my login is activated, then I need to show sign in, and it should provide that email and password, right? Then colon. So it is working like if and else. If my login is there, then sign in, else sign up. So let's just save it. Now it should work. Let's just see if my dependencies are perfectly added, and let's go to welcome, and let's just save it. And now all my three things are ready. Let's click on, and yes, one more thing, when my user is signed up, I want to print success. So let's write print this success, so that I should be it should be visible that my user is added, right? So let's just click on sign up. Okay, so it is printing success. Perfect. Let's go to Firebase and let's see if my user is added or not. Let me just refresh it. Yes, so my user is successfully added. You can see this is the user ID. So this user ID is very important because we require this user ID when we will be adding the to-dos, right? Perfect. That's nice. So we have covered one thing, that is Firebase authentication, at least the sign up page. Now what I need to do is I want to show over here also that you are successfully logged in, right? So let me just do that. So what you need to do is go to your functions and take a build context. So this build context is nothing but it is a reference to your previous screen, right? And as you can see, there is an error because we have to pass our context. So what is happening is when let me just write the code first. Instead of writing this success, I will write a scaffold messenger dot of context dot show snack bar and write a snack bar, and let me just show you what is happening. Text data will be you are successfully registered. You are successfully registered. Okay. Yeah. Now I will be copying this thing and pasting it for password provided is too weak. So let me just paste it and let me just cut it from here and paste it over here. Remove this print. I'll do the same thing for here. Copy this scaffold, write it over here, copy this part, paste it over here. Now you see the magic. Now if I will be calling this part, okay, I need to refresh it. Yes, so let me use the same email. So it should give me a scaffold messenger and it should tell that this email is already in use. You can't use this email, right? So let's just do it. Username, let me put the same username. Let me put my email. And let me put the password and click on sign up. So it is telling already exist for that email. This account is already existing for that email. So that's why I cannot use this, right? So what I can do is I can sign in. I'm already signed up, then I can sign in, right? So let me copy this snack bar and let me just use this build context over here also. So why do we need this build context? Because you can see that in the snack bar, it is calling the context, right? That's why we need this context of the screen from where we are calling this snack bar. So let me just write over here and you are successfully logged in, we will write. And these two messages you can also change it by yourself, right? Perfect. So now in the welcome.dart we need to provide the context. And let me just save it. And now let me just open the console and let's just refresh the app. I want to log in. My email will be that same email. 1 2 3 4 5 6. Click on login and it is saying you are successfully logged in. But now what I want to do is, if I'm logged in, I want to see the home page, right? So for that thing, there is a very, very simple logic. So we are going to use a stream builder. So let's remove this home. So go to main.dart and remove this home because my home is going to get changed. My home will be welcome screen if I'm not logged in. My home will be home screen if I'm logged in. So let's write a stream builder. And over here you need to provide a stream. Write a stream as Firebase auth dot instance Firebase auth dot instance. Why it is not happening? Okay, I think we need to import it. Yes, Firebase auth dot instance dot auth state changes. So that means if my authentication state is changing, then what I need to do is, let's define a builder context comma snapshot. If my snapshot is having data, that means if the user is logged in, so let me just write if my snapshot dot has data, then return home screen, else return the welcome screen. Save it, and you can see now I am able to see the home screen. So let me just provide in the home screen, let me go to pages, then home, and I want to provide a logout button. So let's just copy that button, that elevated button from here, put it in the home, in the body. So let's define body, a container, then child, then a column, children, paste that button, and I will be just removing all this stuff and write firebase auth dot instance dot logout, sign out, and it will be async because it is going to take some time to logging out the user. Perfect. So we have added it, and in the text we don't need this stuff, we just need log out. Save it. You can see, let me just add a padding or a margin, h insets dot all 20, and if I just click on logout, you can see again I'm able to see the welcome screen. So let's log in again. Let's write the password, login. I'm again in the login page. So now we have very successfully covered the authentication part in the Firebase. Now if you have any doubts, you can tell. I'm waiting for 2 to 3 minutes now. Yes, so that we are going to see, that is done using Cloud Firestore. We can save the credentials on Cloud Firestore. So we have already implemented this Firestore, right? So let me just show you that only. So if you have any other doubts, you can tell. This was the next part. So let's just do that only. Any other doubt? Okay, so now let me just start with this saving the credentials only. So what I need to do is, when in the functions, so this is the part when I am logging or creating the user. So when I'm creating the user, I want to save its credentials, save his or her credentials. Right? That is done using Cloud Firestore functions. So over here, you need to write a very simple function, await Firebase Firestore dot instance. That means I'm calling the Firebase Firestore dot instance dot collection users. So what I'm doing, I'm creating a folder, I'm creating a collection users, right? Dot document, or yes, dot document, and user credential dot uid dot okay dot credential dot user credential dot uid we need to get dot user dot uid. Yes, so what is happening is there is a null error, I think. Yes, so let me just write this. Perfect. So let me use a word wrap so that it should be visible, and let me increase the font size. I think it is becoming messy. So what we can do is, let me just separate everything, and yeah, so just focus on this function, right? So what is happening is, after the credentials are ready, after the user has been created, I want to go inside Firebase Firestore, create a collection, or if it is already existing, go inside the user's collection, go inside the user credential.user.uid. Every user on in the Firebase gets a unique ID that is called a user ID or UID, right? I want to create a document for that user, and inside that document, I want to set his data. So set, and it gets set in the form of JSON. So that's I'm creating a dictionary dot set, and what we can do is first thing we will be saving his username. So username we are already getting as a function parameter over here, you can see. So we will be saving his or her username. Then we will be saving his email, and we will not be saving his password because that is not a good practice to save the passwords. Passwords are already saved. Passwords are already automatically managed by Firebase, right? This function will automatically manage that password, so we don't need to save the passwords. So we can just save the username and email. So let me just save it. So this thing is going to save your Firebase thing or your credentials. So now what I can do is I can log out, create a new account, and let's see if my credentials are added. So log out, create a username called, this time I will just create Akshit, then email. So let me put akakshit. Yeah, so my email is 17, I will be using this time at the rate gmail.com. Last time I used 1717, and my password is 123456, right? So let's click on sign up. Okay, so it is there, but we were not able to see this part. So I think it is already I think it is still adding, or what we can see is this error. Let me just show you. Looking up or deactivated widget ancestor is unsafe. At this point, the state of widget element tree is no longer stable. Okay, dispose, save a reference. Okay, let's just see our database if it has been added or not. So you can see that apart from this error, I don't think this is a very useful error, but we are able to see our collection. So you can see our users collection is made, then a document is there. Now this document is having the name of the document ID. So this document ID is nothing but the user ID. So I think we should save this user ID is also here. So let me just go to my Firebase collection function, and let's save the user ID, because this user ID we will be requiring everywhere else, right? So let me just save UID as UID. This part where it is, yeah, user credential.user.uid. Perfect. Let me just save it, and let's just create one more account. Let me use this time Akshit only. Username can be same, right? And email, let's say AK madan171717 at the rate gmail.com. Password, let's say 123456. Let's click on sign up. So let's go to database. I think that scaffold messenger part will automatically solve when I will be rerunning the complete app. So you can see the new user is added, and it is given another user ID because user IDs or unique IDs should be different, right? So you can see UID is also added, email is added, and username is added. So like this, you can add first name of the user, last name of the user, user age, user phone number, any information you want to get on the sign up page. You can save that information over here. You can save the user credentials, right? So is it clear now? Or any other doubts if you are having, you can ask. Or you want to stop over here, that also we can do. We can continue in the next sessions. Or should we continue with the Firestore? It's totally up to you, because it should not get so much for today. So what do you say all? Should we continue or we should stop here? Okay. I think we should stop here. Okay. I think we should wrap up. Okay. Sure, sure, sure. So I think many of you want that we should stop here, and I hope you like this session. So just tell me, just give me a simple feedback, any suggestion you want to give, or I should continue like this, so that you can give me. Thanks, great session. Perfect. And we will also be putting this session on our YouTube channel. So you can also refer it. And whatever code I have written, that link will be shared with you all. Use your mics until and unless there is no disturbance. Okay, okay. It's okay if you don't mention your GitHub IDs also, because we will be making this repository as public only. So that's totally fine. Great, great. So I think Shantanu, our next session will be on next weekend. And what will be the topic?
I think the topic is React JS.
Okay.
Introduction to React JS.
Okay, so if any of your friends want to learn React.js, or if you are also interested in React.js, then you can also join us the next week, and we will be continuing this Flutter session very soon. We will be giving you the dates, but till now you can try this out, and you can also give, if you have any doubts, if you are getting any errors, you can reach out to us on our Discord channel, on our Instagram, on our LinkedIn. We are on every social media, so you can contact us. And yeah, so I think this was great having you all here. Where will be, okay, you will be getting the updates on Discord only. Perfect. So on 9th of October we are having basics of React, and on 10th only we will be having graphic designing using Canva. So I think graphic designing is the thing that everyone should learn. So whether you are a technical or non-technical guy, doesn't matter, you should learn graphic designing, because it is one of the uh, very hot topic nowadays, right? Okay, so I think this much is enough, and yeah, I hope you all like the session. So okay, someone is writing. Great. Okay, so let's go and let's crack the complete thing, complete Firebase To Do app in the next session. Yeah, so you can leave the channel now. Yeah, thanks a lot.
Thank you, Akshat, for the session.
Welcome.